The twin suns of Viridia, 9 cast a harsh, amber glow over the jagged cliffs of the planet's northern continent. I had landed on this forsaken world thinking it would be just another routine supply run, deliver essential equipment to the research outpost perched precariously on the edge of the Chasm of Whispers. But no routine mission could have prepared me for what I was about to encounter. As I descended the canyon walls in my hovercraft, the wind howled through the rock formations like ancient spirits. Somewhere down below, a figure moved with a cautious grace, almost hidden by the dust and shadows. My scanners detected nothing unusual, no weapons, no distress signals, but my instinct screamed at me to pay attention. I slowed the craft and peered through the cockpit view. That was when I saw her. She stood on a narrow ledge, her silhouette delicate but impossibly tense. Her skin shimmered with a pale violet hue, and her eyes, larger than any human's, glowing faintly in the amber light, were fixed on the void below. I couldn't tell if she had noticed me yet. There was a loneliness about her that seemed almost tangible, like a living echo of the canyon's winds. I stepped out of the craft, boots crunching on the mineral-rich soil. "Hey," I called, trying not to sound alarmed, though my voice carried far in the still air. She flinched and pressed herself against the rock, whispering something under her breath. I couldn't hear it at first. I moved closer, hands raised in peace. "Come on," I said gently. "I won't hurt you." Her voice trembled, so soft that it might have been mistaken for the wind. "No one wants me," she whispered. The words hit me harder than a blaster shot. There was no malice in her voice, just despair. No one wanted her. Somehow, that made her both infinitely fragile and impossibly brave, standing there on the edge of this world with no one but the wind for company. "Who says that?" I asked, kneeling to meet her gaze. "You're not alone right now." Her eyes flickered to mine, then down at the precipice. "You don't understand. Everyone, they see me as disposable, useless, unwanted. No one would ever." Her voice faltered, and a single tear traced a line down her cheek. I stepped closer. "Listen to me. I don't care what anyone else thinks. You're not disposable. Not here, not with me." She shook her head. "Humans, you only come here for work, supplies, experiments. You don't care about someone like me." I smiled, soft but firm. "Maybe I came for work, but I'm staying for you. You don't have to be alone anymore." For the first time, she looked directly at me. Her eyes widened, disbelief etched across her delicate features. "You really mean that?" she asked, voice cracking. I nodded. "I do. Come with me. Go home with me. I'll make sure no one ever makes you feel unwanted again." Her lips trembled, and for a long moment, she did nothing but stare. The wind tugged at her hair, but she didn't move. Then, slowly, she lowered herself from the ledge and allowed me to guide her back to the hovercraft. The journey to my ship was quiet, punctuated only by the hum of the engines and the soft whisper of the wind against the hull. I stole glances at her occasionally. She kept her hands folded in her lap, as though unsure what to do with them. The violet glow of her skin illuminated the cabin in a soft, ethereal light. "I'm Mara," she finally said, voice barely above a whisper. "I'm Jace," I replied, smiling. "Welcome aboard, Mara." She hesitated, then nodded, staring out the viewport at the swirling amber sky. I never thought anyone would notice me. Really notice me. "I noticed," I said simply. Her lips parted in surprise, and I realized that was all she needed, a simple acknowledgement, a small bridge across the canyon that separated her from hope. As we traveled through the skies, she asked about Earth, about humanity, and I told her stories, about cities, forests, oceans, even about quiet nights filled with stars like these, though from a slightly different perspective. She listened intently, her violet eyes reflecting the lights of distant moons, occasionally asking questions about things that seemed both alien and familiar. "Do humans always help strangers?" she asked. "Not always," I admitted. "But sometimes we do. Sometimes we see someone who's struggling, and we can't just turn away." She turned to me fully then, and her voice was steady, almost defiant. "Then, I guess I'll trust you. If you can see me, maybe the others will too someday." The words felt heavy with unspoken hope, like the first drops of rain after a drought. I reached over and placed my hand over hers. She didn't pull away. When we landed at the spaceport on the next habitable moon, I expected her to retreat, to vanish into the shadows as she had so often done when left alone. But she stayed. She followed me through customs, past the bustling crowds of traders, scientists, and smugglers. "You brought me here?" she asked, voice tinged with disbelief. "Yes," I said. "This is your new beginning. You won't be alone again." Her violet eyes shimmered with something I could barely name. Gratitude. Relief. Something deeper than that. Something that made me want to protect her for the rest of my life. "You're really human?" she asked, suspicion mixed with awe. I laughed softly. "Yeah, I'm human. And you're amazing, Mara. Never forget that." We found a quiet corner of the city, away from prying eyes. I introduced her to a few of my colleagues, all kind and curious, willing to accept her as she was. She warmed to them gradually, the lines of tension in her shoulders softening. For the first time in years, she laughed, a delicate, melodic sound that made something inside me swell with joy. I never thought I'd hear laughter again," she admitted. "You've got plenty to laugh about now," I said. "You just needed someone to show up." Over the next few weeks, Mara adapted to life outside the isolation she had endured for so long. She explored markets, learned about technology she had never touched, and even started painting in the soft light of our shared quarters. Each day, she grew more confident, her voice stronger, her laughter freer. And every evening, she would glance at me with those wide violet eyes, as if reminding herself that she was allowed to be happy. One evening, as the twin suns of Viridia, 9 set behind the mountains, casting a soft lavender light across the city, Mara approached me. Her hands were empty, but her gaze held a quiet determination. "Jace," she began, voice steady but vulnerable. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't come." "You don't have to think about that," I said. "You're here now, and we'll face everything together." She took a deep breath and stepped closer, her small hands resting on my chest. I want to stay with you, if you'll have me. Not because I'm afraid of being alone, but because I trust you." I felt my chest tighten, a mixture of relief, joy, and love flooding through me. "Mara, there's nothing I want more than for you to stay. I promise." Her violet eyes glistened in the fading light, and she whispered the words I had longed to hear. "Come home with me, wherever that is." And I did. We left the city behind, exploring distant worlds, sharing stories under alien suns, and building a life together that neither of us could have imagined alone. Mara was no longer the girl who whispered that no one wanted her. She had found a home, not in a place, but in the heart of someone who saw her, truly saw her, for the first time. And for the first time in her life, Mara knew she was wanted, not for what she could do, not for what others thought of her, but for who she was. I held her hand as we watched the stars stretch across the night sky. "You're never alone again," I whispered. "I know," she replied, her voice full of certainty and warmth. "Because I'm home. With you."